the big question. Are you ever going to remove that mask?
No. Never say never, but I don't plan on it. I would imagine that maybe the last video I ever do, I'll take it off.
Some collectors really hate third party, and they think that they're knockoffs, they think they do IP theft, but then they go out and buy Creos and constructor butts. What do you think of this?
First of all, I think there's some confusion in the fandom as to the difference between a knockoff and a third party. To me, third party is like fan art. It's like, you know, obviously it's a business, so I'm not jaded about it, but it's not the same as a knockoff. A knockoff, you're stealing somebody's concept. You know, the actual three-dimensional piece. This, like, you're stealing the likeness, but you're not stealing somebody else's work. You've created your own work for that character. You know, it's no different than anyone drawing a Superman and selling it at a convention. You know, that's not licensed by DC. But to me, I don't see, to answer the question, I don't really care who's making it. I just want the best product. If Hasbro's making it, then all the better. If Takara's making it, then all the better. But Hasbro's not making it, with few exceptions. And Takara is doing a bang-up job, so I buy their product, and I get excited about their product. And the third party, some of them are making the product that I want, so that's what I get. I don't want Creos. I don't want that nonsense. That's not for me. I'm not their target demographic.
Who is your favourite attorney from Brooklyn?
That would have to be Robert, and I'll tell you why. Some attorneys are ambulance chasers, right? But Robert's in a very specific category where the ambulances actually stop by his house first. Maybe because they're trying to get a little piece in on it, but they stop by his house first and then they take him to the hospital. So he's got to be my favorite. He's on top of it.
Do you ever hide, you know, purchases from your wife?
I can't really. I can't really, because it's all on her credit card statement. So no. No, I can't. Now, sometimes I won't tell her exactly what it is. Like, I won't tell her that, you know, it's an update to a character I already have or something like that, or, you know, I'll keep that between you and me. If
you had to choose between shampoo, bottled Prime, and Bumblebee, let's say Kronos, who would you pick?
Can I choose suicide? Is suicide an option? Can I choose an early death? Can I choose measles? Is measles on the table? Can I choose the worst meatloaf anyone's ever created as an option? Is that possible? Can I choose to watch The Great Gatsby again? I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I'll choose the Prime and then use it in Solid Unit Part 2.
What is your signature dish when you cook?
I make a mean peanut butter and jelly. I make a mean bowl of Captain Crunch. I have a good cereal to milk ratio. That's my key. That's my secret. The cereal to milk ratio.
Does your mask ever smell like awesomeness and lumberjacks?
That's funny. That's funny. Why don't we leave the jokes to me? No, in all seriousness, it smells like a traumatic childhood.
What do you feel made Transformers like a forever thing for you?
To be honest, it wasn't a forever thing in my life. Like, I loved it when I was a kid. I got out of it for a while. Dreamwave Comics kind of brought me back into it. And then I got heavy into it and heavy into drawing them. And then I went to BotCon in 08 and I had a terrible time. And I hated it so much that I swore off Transformers. And it wasn't until Fall of Cybertron that I got back into it. I started playing the game, and then I started searching on eBay. I was going to get my Masterpiece Grimlock that I never picked up, and I came across Hercules and discovered Third Party, and that like kind of motivated me to get back into collecting, and then it's kind of been on from there. So as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to stop. But, you know, it's a supply and demand thing, and if they kill off my demand again, then I'll back out. But the reason why I love it, I think, is the connection to the characters. It was the way that the 80s shows just threw characters at you. They didn't care about backstory necessarily. They didn't care about all that. They gave them a little bit of a personality and just threw them in the mix. And you just got this idea, even as a kid, that this story was so large. Like, the scale of it was so huge. I find that alluring.
Can we schedule a death match between you and, let's say, another reviewer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think really what would be more appropriate is a thumb wrestling war, and just like record it with the two hands, you know, and then have a 1, 2, 3, 4 declare war. I bet you it'd be interesting to see which one of those knuckleheads would choose the old sneak attack move. I bet you that.
Will you be reviewing Troll and Saw?
I have.
What made you come up with the Skullface persona?
Okay, so I was on a podcast years ago, and we were looking at some releases, and somebody was showing this upgrade to this toy, this third-party upgrade, and it had like a skull face. And I said on the podcast, I was like, man, I wish I had a cool nickname like that, like Skullface. And the guys on that podcast were like, I'll call you Skullface, and that's kind of where it got started.
When it comes to picking an appropriate robe and sweatpants, what factors do you have to consider?
It's funny because I have 5 pairs of sweatpants, and there's subtle differences. Well, one is blue. But aside from that, the other 3, there's subtle differences, and I choose them. They're usually chosen very specifically for the context of the skit. I'm not going to give it away. It's the same with the color t-shirts, usually either gray, white, black, or brown. Sometimes blue, and those are usually chosen specifically for the skit. Like my nicer sweatpants are used in Solid Unit, and it's with a black t-shirt. The robe is just like a funny thing. It's just like a Nautica robe, and I guess that's a nice robe as far as robes go, but it's like, I think it's funny against the, $10 sweatpants and, $5 t-shirt.
Which year would you classify as your most enjoyable TFCon?
Well, I've only been to 2. I went to the 2013 in Toronto. I might go back to Toronto this year, and then I went to 2014 in Chicago. Chicago was very cool because I got to meet a lot of people that I've been speaking with and develop relationships with, so I got to meet them in person, so that was what was cool about that. But the Toronto one, there's just more of a family atmosphere. It's just a little bit more quaint. It's a little bit more community. So that one would probably be my favorite. But the things, I enjoyed Toronto more overall, but the aspects of Chicago that I enjoyed more than any aspect I enjoyed in Toronto. Does that make sense? And
how did you meet the SCU guys?
Well, like I said, I was on that show. I was on another show earlier on, and a lot of those guys were either on that show or had made guest appearances. Long story short, we decided to go our separate ways. Myself and the creators of the other show decided to go our separate ways for many reasons. And the other guys from SCU kind of wanted to do something different, and then we added in Deluxe and we added in Mega because Mega for news because he's all over the news stuff, and Deluxe to be like our Hasbro guy, and that was it. It was mainly Greg from Mercy and I that wanted to start Shattercast, and then SCU, and then I wanted T2RX6 just because he's such a knowledgeable guy. And I wanted Oscar because he's such like a large personality, so we reached out to both of them. Both of them were with it. We got Deluxe because we needed a Hasbro fan, and we got Mega to handle the news, and that was that. It's kind of been moving ever since.
What is your name?
Preston Mindleton.
What drawing are you most looking forward to?
I can't talk a whole lot about it, but I've been asked to do a piece for something third-party related. It's not a toy, but it's something super cool. I just can't say anything about it at the moment, but I've been asked to do like the cover basically for it, and I am super excited about it. I'll obviously be giving more details as that comes out, but I am super excited about it. And there's a good chance that this individual that asked me to do it. He's a very talented guy. I wish I could say more. I just can't.
Okay, yeah, so that's really interesting.
And somebody asked if I color my own work. I do all the coloring, I do all the drawing, I do all the inking. It's 100% me. And then I think somebody also asked where they could buy my book. Like, I have a book called the Cybertronian Collection of all my Transformer work compiled up until a certain point. Just contact me. All my contact information is always down below in the comments, so just contact me and I will tell you how to get that.
What do you think of the up-and-coming Transformers RID series?
I think it's going to be terrible. I don't want it to be. I'm going to give it a fair shake. I just got a bad feeling about it. The Moosehead guy, LobsterCon, all that, like I can't get behind it. It just, aesthetically, it doesn't interest me. I don't find those characters cool looking, so I have a hard time getting into it. Like, I got into Prime, even though that aesthetic is not my favorite, I found the look to be interesting, so I could easily get behind that.
What is your favourite third-party Transformer?
Feral Rex. Just overall, it's everything I want. Like individually, collectively, combined, alt mode, robot mode. It's a good look. It's thoughtful. It's imposing. It has a presence on your shelf. I think that's overall my favorite third-party piece ever.
What is your favourite Hasbro Transformer?
Ugh. Brainstorm. And just because I think it nails the character of IDW. I have my issues with it, you know, the hollowness, lack of paint, stuff like that, but I just think it nails that character.
Who is the least favourite toy ever?
My least favorite toy ever is probably Ollie and Kronos and every Hasbro Deluxe for the most part.
What's the L in your name? What does it stand for?
Long...
Fuck's sake.